This is the Mi Mix, the first almost bezel-less phone from Xiaomi. A phone with little to no bezels means you can stick a massive screen in a reasonably sized body. For example, the Mi Mix has a 6.4-inch screen, but it's just slightly bigger than an iPhone 7 Plus. The frame is built out of ceramic, which is a hard but brittle substance, so it's pretty much unscratchable. But if you drop it without a case, it'll most likely break, which is sad considering how beautiful ceramic is. But Xiaomi did include a case which is made out of leather, and it looks pretty good, but increases the size of an already large phone. The display is a 6.4-inch Full HD IPS panel with a resolution of 1080 by 2040 with 362 pixels per inch. It has a really unusual aspect ratio of 17 by 9. The display is nothing compared to the AMOLED panel on the S8 or even the S7, but it'll still surprise you every time you look at it. And Xiaomi allows you to adjust its color and contrast in the settings, which allows you to get the screen just right. Now Xiaomi hasn't mentioned where it gets its display glass from, and many users are reporting that it scratches really easily. So I suggest buying a screen protector if you plan on buying it. Even though the phone is slightly bigger than an iPhone 7 Plus, the screen is still massive, so your fingers have to stretch further than that of a 7 Plus. So if you have an iPhone, imagine stretching a little more to accommodate the screen size. The Mix has a Snapdragon 821, which is last year's flagship processor. It's a quad-core processor with 2 high-performance cores and 2 power-efficient cores, which comes with 4 GB of RAM and 128 GB of storage on the standard edition. And the Gold edition has 6 GB of RAM and 256 GB of storage. I haven't faced any performance issues other than the occasional bug and slowdown that's pretty common. The apps seem to run really well, and I don't really game on mobile, but the few games that I've played for this review ran well with good frame rates and very few stutters. Playing games on a bezel-less screen look amazing, and you really get immersed in the game, but there isn't enough room for you to grab onto, which causes unintentional taps on the screen. But I really think it's something you can get used to, but it's just not comfortable. MIUI seems to have improved a lot since I last used it, and I didn't face any RAM management issues that used to plague it. But not everything works well. I'll explain further in the software portion of this review. There isn't a earpiece on the Mix, so instead, the entire frame vibrates and acts as a earpiece. The tech is really cool, but it just doesn't function very well. If the volume is anywhere below high, it's impossible to hear the caller, and on high, everyone around you can listen in on your call. If you still have wired headphones, you'll be happy to hear that the Mix has a 192Hz 24-bit DAC for high-resolution audio, which simply sounds amazing even with a cheap pair of headphones. The microphone is really easy to cover up as it only covers a single hole on the bottom and tends to muffle or mute entirely. There's just a single mono speaker which sounds decent and has a 86 decibel sound output, which sits next to a USB Type-C connector with fast charging and quick charge 3.0, but its transfer speeds are still USB 2.0. The camera is a 16 megapixel sensor with an f2.0 aperture, and it uses digital stabilization, which I was surprised by considering the size of the device. I really have nothing good to say about the camera. In simple words, it's bad. In low light, it tends to increase the ISO to the highest possible setting, which results in some pretty grainy images. While as in good lighting conditions, the photos are detailed and the white balance and colors are accurate. But even in sunlight, the images come out grainy. It seems like the post-processing on these photos is set to extreme. A simple camera update would fix most of these issues instantly, as the sensor is good and the pictures I've captured in manual mode come on looking good, but I really don't see that happening. Sitting by the camera is a dual-tone flash, which just like the camera is unoptimized. No matter the situation, the flash flashes at a single brightness setting, which always leads to blown out and washed out images. As for the front camera, there's a 5 megapixel sensor, which has the same image processing issues as the rear. In addition, it's located at the bottom of the phone, which adds to the frustration. But you can always flip the camera around, which flips the interface around sometimes, and other times it just doesn't. And this is just a trend with the camera and its reliability. Okay, so what are some practical reasons for having this amazing large display? The obvious one being to see more content on the screen, so that means less scrolling. But other than the bundled apps, Xiaomi did not put any effort at all into optimization of any third-party apps. So they all look blown out and consume the same space as they would on a 5.5 inch or even a 5-inch display. And fixing this was so simple, by just inputting a simple command and reducing the DPI. I think this is one of the biggest drawbacks of the phone and alleviates any reason for having the bigger screen. So I wrote this entire review on the Mix. And there were times when I wanted to refer to a feature or spec of the device and I had to switch apps, which made me realize that the Mix should have come with multi-window. I've never seen a good implementation of multi-window on a smartphone, and they always seem to be really clunky. But it's always a good feature to have. I think it's necessary on a screen this size, and it's another feature that's been omitted. There's no software on this phone built to make use of all the space available. It's just a slightly modified version of MIUI 7, which is based off Android 6.0 Marshmallow, which has barely been updated since launch. Don't you think it would be awesome to watch videos on this massive display? And it is. But the disappointing part is, it leaves black bars on the bottom, and they haven't even included a way of cropping in the video to fill the screen for third-party apps. It feels like they've spent all their time on the design of the hardware and totally left out the software. It's not like MIUI is bad. I actually like it quite a bit, and it's filled with some awesome features. I don't mind tweaking a phone to get it just right, but coming back from an iPhone where everything worked as it should, I expected the same from Xiaomi. The lack of updates to fix these issues is just sad, but it will get updated to Android N eventually. Sadly, I won't have the phone then to test it out. Now, if you're looking for a smartphone with the newest and best specs that'll just work out of the box, this is not for you. But if you're willing to deal with all of its faults and compromises and spending the time to fix them, the Mi Mix has an exceptional build and is truly unique with its ceramic frame, which you won't find on any other device, at least till the Mi Mix 2 is released.